Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Black Lightning Season 3 review series. And today I'm going to be talking about Episode 8, The Book of Resistance, Chapter 3, The Battle of Franklin Terrace. And this episode had, I think, one of the best fight scenes in Season 3 so far and in the show overall. And this episode pretty much picks up where we left off at the end of episode 7, where we saw Painkiller has now been programmed with a new target, and that is none other than Black Lightning himself. So all of that and more comes to a real big head in this episode. So with that all said, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about episode 8, The Book of Resistance, Chapter 3, The Battle of Franklin Terrace. So we open up this episode with Tobias at the ASA facility talking about how he is not like the others, and then we see Jefferson wakes up alone after him and Lynn had a big argument which prompted her to leave. She also doesn't answer any of his calls. We also see Gambia's testing Anissa's powers. They are now back to normal, but she still has a wound/scar where she was infected from her fight with Painkiller. She is desperate to get back to work, but Gambi shows her a news item from outside the city that has been sending misinformation about the reason why Freeland has been shut down. Gambi says they need to find a way to get the real information out there. Meanwhile, at the ASA, Lynn continues to look for Khalil when Tobias is brought in. He continues to pester her, telling her that she knows what the ASA will do with the metas once she stabilises them. Lynn says she knows, but she thinks she's giving them a choice. Tobias says they won't, and neither will anyone in Freeland with a metagene, as the ASA will just flood the city with green light, and it'll be all on her. Now also, we've been seeing over the course of the first half of Season 3 that Lynn is becoming more and more addicted to green light. Now, obviously, the reason why she's become addicted to green light is because it boosts her intelligence level, which is why she's able to figure out all the genes for the metahumans, but it comes at a very heavy price. So it's very interesting and cool that they're handling Lynn's addiction problems in this season so far. We then see Jennifer show up at Brandon's place, and they apologise to each other after he threw her out the last time she was there. He theorises that his powers ground out Jennifer's. Blackbird pays Jamila a visit to ask her to put together footage so they can get the message outside of Freeland. At home, Henderson visits Jefferson and agrees they need to be on the same team if they have any chance of stopping the ASA and the threat of the Markovian. Their third grade teacher, Mrs. Shepherd, needs their help because the ASA has taken over Franklin Terrace as barracks and evicted everyone, but Mrs. Shepherd is refusing to leave her home. Brandon reveals that Dr. Jace experimented on his mother while she was pregnant with him, and he ultimately had to watch her die. He ended up in foster care shortly after. Now he's looking for Dr. Jace to end her once and for all as revenge for what happened to his mum. Jennifer reveals she knows the doctor's last known whereabouts. At Franklin Terrace, Jefferson and Henderson go in to speak with the lady, but is still refusing to leave. She reminds him of the significance of the apartment and how it's been part of their history. She isn't going anywhere, but she wants to fight back. Jefferson leaves but calls Henderson and tells him to rally the troops. They're making a stand, and Jefferson suits up as Black Lightning. Here we go. Gambi locates an abandoned radio tower that they can use for their broadcast when news of the Franklin Terrace incident hits. Jennifer also suits up as Thunder to go aid Black Lightning. Thunder shows up right on time, and the ASA troops fall back and the resistance shows up. At the radio tower, Gambi encounters one of the pod kids, Baron, and convinces him that he's trying to help save Freeland. At the ASA, Lynn reluctantly teams up with Tobias to stop the ASA, though his plan is for her to break him out. He wants Lynn to give him Miriam's powers of camouflage. Jennifer reveals that Jace isn't in Freeland, and very upset, he essentially causes an earthquake before ultimately passing out. Baron, who goes by the name Technocrat, or TC for short, helps Gambi get things up and running. Meanwhile at Franklin Terrace, Painkiller shows up and faces off with Thunder. He takes off his mask and she learns that it's actually Khalil before he goes down. Thunder arrives at the tower to help get out the broadcast. As they are uploading things, the signal starts to jam out, but Baron manages to get it through. Later, Gamby pulls out Baron's ASA file and is alerted that the ASA lockdown procedure has initiated and they're trying to lock Lynn in. She grabs a bunch of her pills and a cure, and Gamby guides her out, but she drops her bag in the process. At Franklin Terrace, the commander adapts Black Lightning's powers and attacks him, but he's quickly overwhelmed by the power and collapses. The Resistance wins the day, with Black Lightning finally on board with them, as their alliance is now complete and ready to take on any challenge that comes their way, and that's how episode 8 ends. Excellent episode. Very good. Really enjoyed this a lot. I had a feeling that Black Lightning would eventually join the Resistance, as I said in previous videos. They both have the same goals, but they just have different ways of getting to those goals. So to see them all come together and join forces really pays off in a big way. And now that Jennifer knows that Painkiller is Khalil, it's going to be very interesting how they're going to address that, because as we all know, they were together at one point and they have history, as well as Khalil has history with all of the Pierce's family. So I'm going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 8? Did you enjoy it? What did you think of the fight scene? Did you think it was good? How do you think they're going to handle the situation now that Jennifer knows the truth about Khalil being Painkiller? What's your thoughts on Black Lightning joining the Resistance? Do you think with all of them working together, do you think it will be enough to stop the ASA threat? What about Lynn and Tobias working together? Do you think Tobias will double cross Lynn? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will be back next time for another edition of the Black Lightning Season 3 review series, where I'll be talking about episode 9, and it's going to be a very special video because it ties into the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event, and it will also explain how Black Lightning ended up with the other heroes of the Arrowverse. So it should be a lot of fun, and I am very much looking forward to talking about that one. Can't wait. So, until next time, take care everybody, and stay safe.